Hey, everybody, good evening, and welcome back to Half Rate Heroes here on Crituitous RP. We are sorry that we missed you all last week, but technical difficulties and Mother Nature conspired together against us. But we are back this week and excited to be with you here tonight. So thanks for coming to join. Let's start by going around and just introducing ourselves again. I know it's been a while. You may have forgotten who we are. So I'm Eugenio, also known as your friendly neighborhood dungeon master, DM Jazzy Hands. I am the dungeon master of this crazy crew. And let's go to Vinny.
I'm Vinny. I play Kayla Irvine, half elven, knowledge cleric of Zignier.
No other introduction needed. That was everything. Casey.
I am Casey. I'm the Hobgoblin Azmar Barbarian Fighter, also known as Champion of Timora and Paler of Plains, Heckler of Big Fire Chickens, and she who would fight the storm, Nos of Neverwinter.
I will never not love the list of titles. John.
Hey, peoples. I'm John. I'm playing Wampum Thunderbelly, your Battle Master Dwarf. And I am going to withdraw since I have been out for a week or two. So the axe is getting awful itchy to start swinging.
Oh my goodness, that's right. We were missing you the week before too. Oh, it's good to have you back. And who do we have left? Graham.
Hi, I'm Graham. I play Taslin Evrio, the Shattered Kai necromancer and wizard and part-time best friend. I don't know. Thanks for having me.
It feels like it's a full-time job, but maybe that's just me. All right, last but not least, Carl.
I'm Carl, and I play Lafcadio Whitehorn, the Tabaxi Warlock, the Servant of Nabanian, Lord Firemane, the Lion King.
Yes, titles. All right. Before we get into a little recap to remind you all where we ended a couple of weeks ago and what we've got coming up, just a few housekeeping announcements. It is still June, which means it is still Pride Month, which means we are still raising money for the amazing organization, the Trevor Project. We are about, we are about a quarter of the way to our goal for fundraising for this month. To all of you who have donated so far, thank you so much. The Trevor Project is a really incredible organization that does stuff around the country to support LGBTQIA plus youth, particularly with suicide prevention and issues around that. They are an amazing organization. They do so much good work, and that is because of incredible people like you who have donated. We do still have plenty of time left in the month for you to get your donations in. If we hit our $500 donation goal by the end of the month, we will be gifted with a legendary bundle for D&D Beyond. They've decided to give us some incentives for y'all to donate. So if we get to $500, we will be giving away a legendary bundle. That means you will get access to everything that has come out so far on D&D Beyond as of whenever we give that away. And I believe, and Carl, you may know if I'm wrong or not, but I believe once you have a legendary bundle, you also get discounts on all future products. So anything that you buy after we gift that to you, you'll get, I believe it's 20 or 25% off. So like, really awesome deal. Donate. We will draw, if we hit 500, we will draw the winner from all of the donors throughout the month. And also just because, like I said, Trevor Project is awesome. So thank you all so much for your support so far. We're looking forward to your support over the next couple of weeks. And yeah, we'll keep our eye on that $500 prize. All right. So 2 weeks ago, where did we leave off? We had made our way through, finally, the end of Judy Blackcloud's amazing adventure from the Uncaged Anthology #1, which was Ghastly Grins and involved the Dullahan, the Headless Horsewoman. You all were able to save her from her sort of enslavement, as it were, by the former mayor of the town that you were in, who had sent her on a beheading spree. You all found out what was going on, took care of the bad guys, freed her, and she sent Taslin on a new mission that she assumed you all might want to accompany him on. She had a message from Taslin's long-lost boss, I suppose, the Raven Queen, the Lady of Shadows from the Shadowfell. And she apparently is looking for some missing Shattered Kai. She normally wouldn't sort of notice the disappearance of a couple of Shattered Kai here and there, but she did notice these for several reasons, not the least of which is that this group from Waterdeep that has gone missing was the last in a series of enclaves of Shadarkai around the Sword Coast and the Aranok Desert region who have sort of gone off the grid. So she sent Tazlin and, by extension, the rest of you to Waterdeep to investigate, figure out what's going on, and once you have enough information, Tazlin, report your findings back to her at the Fortress of Shadows in... Fortress of Shadows? Fortress of Memories. At her fortress in the Shadowfell. I don't know. It's a very spectacularly spooky name that I don't remember right now. So, yeah, we did a little bit of hand-waving because random encounters on the road are perfectly fine for home games and not at all interesting to watch. So, we are maybe half a day's ride south of Waterdeep at this point. You all know that you'll be approaching by the southern gate. There will be checkpoints and things like that. Now, as I understand it, Nos had some trouble with the city the last time you all were in the area. You want to tell us a little bit about that, Casey?
It wasn't with the group, actually. Nos was alone. And during her pilgrimage from Westgate to where she eventually landed, which was Luskan, she tried everywhere between Westgate and Luskan, every major city, and nobody would let her in.
Got it. So you were turned away because of your hobgoblin heritage, I presume?
A goodly hobgoblin really hasn't been a precedent in the world yet.
Sure. Particularly one on their own.
Right.
Yeah. Cool.
That was about a year ago.
Right. And, as you've been on the road, as the five of you now have been on the road, you may have, past travelers coming south from Waterdeep, or maybe points further north, but passed through Waterdeep. There was quite the little shakeup not too long ago. In fact, it would have been around the time that you had some trouble, Nos. I couldn't get too many details. Something about, I don't know, a lot of gold going missing or something, or a lot of gold being found or something. Anyway, it makes sense to you all that the town watch, that the city watch and the city guard would have been on high alert. So you're hopeful that maybe you'll have an easier time of it, both with your companions and now that things have hopefully calmed down a bit. So, like I said, you're about a half day's ride to the south gate of Waterdeep. Anything you all are doing to prepare for your arrival? Anything you want to discuss? Anything we need to go over before you arrive?
Ritual casting, water breathing, like usual, and casting mage armor on myself.
Okay. Not at all paranoid, are we, Tazlin?
Never.
At least you're on the coast. It's not like you're in the desert and casting water breathing, so I support it. Go ahead, Lefkadio. I'm sure you would.
No one expects a hidden oasis under
Spanish Inquisition. Go ahead, Lefkadio.
Lefkadio, I have a habit of switching which ring I'm attuned to, depending on the situation. If we're going to go into the city, I will don my ring of mind shielding, and if we're out and about or about to get, if I think a tussle is likely, then I'll throw on my ring of fire resistance. So I'm switching to the ring of mind shielding presently.
Okay, great for the approach. I like that. Anything else, Nos or Wampum or Kale?
Yeah, I'd want to ask my team members. You've all been to this place we're going before, right?
Yeah.
I don't believe I have recently.
All right. Does anybody know if they have like if there's like a well-known, reputable money lender that has a vault, or a bank would be better?
It's Waterdeep. It's there.
Yeah, any of you who have spent any amount of time in Waterdeep can make a... when I ran Dragon Heist, I added a skill called Waterdeep Knowledge, but that doesn't make sense for you all, so let's call it an intelligence history check for any of you who've spent any sort of time in Waterdeep. We'll see if you can sort of name one in particular for Nos.
Not me.
Not one. That's a 3. 25. What else we got going? 25. Okay, I think Kale might have someone in mind.
Yep.
Anybody else want to pull that up? No? Okay, great. That face, I love it. Okay, so yeah, I mean, the trade ward certainly has some places that can sort of do money changing and money, I almost said money laundering, which is not what we're going for. Money holding. You also are, the castle ward has lots of probably more expensive in terms of like possible fees and taxes and such on them. But also the castle ward is where a lot of nobles and the aristocracy will do business. So those, you pay, you get what you pay for, as it were. But those would be the two wards that you'd want to go check out for that inn, as Kale knows.
Is there anyone specific within the ward? Anything more to go off of than just asking around there?
Sure. So in, let's see, in the trade ward, let's see, I have a list of folks, and let's pick one that now is a moneylender. Let's see. Yes, so in the trade ward, there is a fairly reputable moneylender who tends to actually work a lot of times with foreign merchants, so that sort of speaks well of her. And her name is Jessa. Where's her last name? Jessa Blackcape. She's fairly well known in the trade ward. Up in the castle ward, there are lots and lots of folks that you could go to. Kale, with that outrageous roll, can rattle off a few names. One of them being James Goldsmith.
Sounds legit.
Yeah, right. Who has a fairly well-known, pretty standard sort of business up in the castle ward.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, anything else as we approach? So you all do also know that you're going to, before you actually get to the south gate, you will pass an outpost of the city guard at Zundbridge. They'll sort of mostly, you all are well armed, but assuming that you're not walking down the road blades drawn, they'll just sort of note your approach but not really bother you all as you pass by and continue to approach the south gate. When you get to the south gate, however, you do know that you will encounter the city watch and sort of have to go through a customs interview, as it were, to come in, sort of explain why it is that you're there, what you plan to do, how long you're staying, all that sort of thing. So if we've got nothing else, we'll say that is in fact where we find our 5 adventurers, at the south gate of Waterdeep, and held up short by several town watch. And their leader sort of comes out and looks over all of you and looks a little uneasy at how well armed and armored you all are. But, he's seen adventurers come and go before, so he approaches and says, "Welcome to Waterdeep. What brings you fair travelers to our city?"
Well met. Band that we have here, we got all kinds of business in here. Me, personally, I have to check to make sure that me Thunderbelly Ale is still running well.
Oh, interesting. Let's see if he is a devotee of Thunderbelly Ale. Let's see. He, in fact, has heard of Thunderbelly Ale and looks a little surprised and says, "Oh, are you a member of the Thunderbelly family?"
Wampum Thunderbelly be me.
Please extend my thanks, I suppose, to your family of brewers. It's an impressive product you all put out.
I appreciate it. I'll send a mug out to you tonight.
He smiles and he says, "I would very much appreciate that, Master Thunderbelly. I do hate to hold you all up any longer than I have to, so we'll sort of get through this as quickly as possible. Don't want to hold you up. Do any of you have any specific purpose in Waterdeep that the City Watch should be aware of? Anything beyond sort of typical merchanting or visit tourist activities, things as such?"
Well, we've been told that there was a string of disappearances recently that we were going to investigate.
Just disappearances.
Mhm.
Goodness. I've not heard of anything down here in my neck of the woods, but do you have any more information about this? I feel like this is something perhaps the Watch should be aware of and have on its radar.
Yes, I'm surprised.
You know how I know what radar is in a fantasy game.
I was just about to say.
It means something different.
Yes, absolutely. I'll come up
got-
with what that acronym is later.
Temple of God came up with some sort of thing.
There you
Anyway, yes, there's a string of disappearances of, I believe, Shadow Kai, and it was in the, what was the Sea Ward? Jeez.
I don't think she
Really cold.
actually ever told you all where they were.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
okay.
don't think she said anything except Waterdeep.
Okay.
He,
Yep,
he
that's
looks real surprised about Shadowkai. He says, "I'm sorry. You're positive this was Waterdeep? I'm not aware of any gatherings of Shadowkai. They're rather noticeable."
Oh no, that's what we were told. Our companion here, and he'll gesture to Taslin. Say, this is Taslin Evrio. He is a servant of the Raven Queen, and you know he's
Skip it again.
he was instructed by one of her knights, I suppose, to come and investigate this issue.
Interesting. Well, I thank you for bringing that to my attention. I shall have to pass on the word to my superiors. Perhaps they do, in fact, know of something. If they do, or should have questions for you about this matter, do you all know where you'll be staying in Waterdeep, so that I might get in touch with you, or my superiors might get in touch with you?
I'm not sure. I imagine Wampum, you probably know a good spot.
I can definitely find us one, but sir, since it's been quite probably a year since I've been through, what establishments have grown in stature?
He says, well, are you looking to stay here in the Southern Ward, or where were you hoping to take up residence during your visit? Which was something a little nicer up in the Trades Ward, or where were you hoping to find yourselves?
Well, since I'd like to visit the forges as well, I probably want to stick around the Trades Ward.
Absolutely, absolutely. Let's see. I'm trying to think of places that serve your fine ale. There is a place up on the high road, the Gentle Rest. Fairly nice inn. Serves a spot of your ale.
I remember that place. Yes.
Absolutely. All right. So excellent. I'll count on seeing you there should we have any further questions for you. And again, thank you for bringing this to our attention.
And your name?
Sorry?
And your name? I don't believe
You
we've divulged
are a
such.
dungeon master's nightmare. Hold on.
And then also, I'd like to roll an insight check.
Go ahead and do that while I get us.
John Guardsman.
Right?
Yeah.
I already
John
named
Doe.
James was the other name, so I can use John, I suppose. Yeah, go ahead and roll your insight, and I'll.
15.
He seems fairly on the about it. He was pretty surprised about the Shadowkai business. He was not ready for that. Let's see. His name is Argos. His name is Argos. He just doesn't need to give you his family name. He says,
him RG for short.
I wish that you wouldn't.
And what's your rank, Argos?
He says, "Oh, I'm captain of this outpost.
Oh, captain.
Nothing so fancy. It sounds much fancier than it is." He says, "And how long were you all planning on staying here in Waterdeep? Did you have a general idea of your length of stay?"
Nope.
Says, right. Well, should you need to stay more than a month, we will consider you all temporary permanent residents, as it were, which is a silly title, but and we will require the regular city taxes from all of you. But as long as it's not any longer than that, we shouldn't have a problem. My only last question for you, because of course the Watchful Order will be curious. Are there any arcane spellcasters in your party? And he sort of, he's not a moron, so he looks mostly towards Taslin, but
Taslin's just like whistling, like twiddling his thumbs. Oh, yes. I suppose that would be an apt description of my abilities.
He says it's not a problem, of course. I'll just have to report your presence to the Watchful Order. And again, if your stay exceeds a month here in the city, they'll probably come calling, asking for your support, which of course will mean your membership fees. But anyway, as I said, if you're not planning on staying that long, shouldn't be an issue. Any others I should be aware of? Master Taslin and...
Lafcadio Whitehorn. At your service, mate.
Fantastic. Thank you
And
so...
is there a stable that we could leave our mounts with?
Oh, you're absolutely. I believe that the Gentle Rest has got one, but if you can't find one there are plenty up in that area of the trades ward. Shouldn't be a problem for you.
Okay. And if the Watchful Order would like the help of a cleric, I'm an adherent to Denier, and I have some measure of magical abilities.
He smiles and says, to be quite honest, I'm happy to pass your name along. I really don't know much of anything regarding their business, but I will let them know that you've offered. I'm sure they'll be pleased or not. They're a prickly bunch, but anyway, I'll let them know you're here.
And besides the disappearances, has there been anything of note happening in the city? You see, we don't go looking for trouble typically, but it somehow finds us, and I'd rather know about it now to avoid any trouble.
That is perhaps not the greatest thing for a member of the city guard to hear about 5 individuals that are armed to the teeth that I'm letting into my city, but...
Wampum just rides up behind Tasman and just smacks him on the back of the head.
He sort of laughs. That diffuses his tension a little bit because he also remembers that you're here, and surely nothing can go wrong when a member of the Thunderbelly clan is here. So he says, we had spotted trouble not too long ago. Wasn't really, fortunately, the southern ward bypassed the worst of it, but there was a bit of nonsense about the former open lord having embezzled some money, and there were a lot of powerful folk who wanted their hands on it. I tried to stay out of the mess, to be completely honest. Our current black staff sort of, with the help of some adventurers, managed to put a stop to whatever that was. But it had the city in quite a tizzy for quite a while, I must say. Of course, everyone, in addition to the disturbance in the streets, everyone was hoping to get their hands on a bit of the dragon horde, as it was being called at the time. Beyond that, though, no, things are quiet. Let's keep it that way. Yes, right, please, yes.
Sure. And last time we were here, I don't remember if this was the case or not, but do we need to exchange our currency?
That depends entirely upon whether or not you want to get the best deals. Certainly many of the permanent merchants here in town would prefer to work in nibs and shards and dragons, yes. Gold is gold, and I'm sure they'll accept anything you've got, but your exchange might be less than desirable if you're doing it on the spot with the merchants,
All right. And I'm sure some of the money lenders in the city would be equipped to handle transfers.
Oh, absolutely. And up in the trades ward, you're likely to find any number of money changers who you can compare their rates and get the best deal, as it were. Really, I don't know what I'm talking about. I've lived in Waterdeep all my life. I've never really had to deal with it, but I'm sure you'll be just fine, and the 5 of you seem capable travelers to deal with whatever they've got to throw at you.
Great. I hope nobody throws anything at us, but that's...
It's a turn of phrase, must be a Waterdavian thing. Don't worry about it.
Great.
Right.
Is there anything else you need from us?
I don't. Thank you all so much. I'm terribly sorry to have taken up even this much of your time, Master Thunderbelly, and the rest of you. Enjoy your stay in Waterdeep. Try not to stir up any trouble, Master Taslin. And
I put into RG.
And it was a great pleasure meeting you, and professionally, I hope that I don't see you again.
Fair enough.
And he sort of signals to the rest of the city guard that's in his team, and they sort of part and let you all pass through the gates into Waterdeep.
I'll turn back and ask everybody after we get through the gates, should we have mentioned that we're Thanes of Neverwinter? Was that relevant information?
He was so overwhelmed as it was.
I believe it may have been too much, and it may have drawn more attention to us than we perhaps need if we're investigating these missing Shadarkai.
Okay. Well, I see no reason why the guard should be able to help that sort of thing. Obviously, they know the city better than we ever will, probably.
And if they didn't notice that an enclave of Shadar Kai went missing, then I doubt they'd be much help at all.
Well, that captain didn't really know anything about it, but it's a big city. It couldn't hurt to ask.
It's true. All right. So first stop is where?
We gotta drop the horse and camel off.
Great. I will never remember about that camel, and will always be delighted when you remind me. All right, so here's how we'll sort of do this for the moment. So you all can head up to the trades ward, find the gentle rest, sort of get settled in there, stable the horses and the camel. Now, obviously, Taslan and it seems Kale are going to be interested in investigating the Shadar Kai situation. I know Nos has some shopping to do and some gambling to do, as we mentioned a couple of weeks ago. Wampum is going to want to check in on some of the places that serve the Thunderbelly Ale, yeah? Sort of make sure things...
Stop by, I need to find me another nice axe.
Okay, great. So a little bit of shopping there, too.
And Taslan will also do a little bit of shopping.
Great. Okay, and Lefcadio?
I have to check in with my local branch of the Emerald Enclave.
Right.
And I wanted to talk to the group about that before we parted ways, but...
yeah, I'll give you a chance to do that right now. I just sort of want to... The stuff that we can hand wave that is not so thrilling role-playing wise, we'll do that now. So anything that you all want to shop for and stock up on that's basic arms, armor, and adventuring equipment, nothing magical, but I guess potions of healing are sort of fine too. But anything on that basic list, you can find absolutely no problem in Waterdeep. Standard prices in the player's handbook. I trust you all to sort of deal with that on your own. No problem there. Magical stuff, we'll sort of we'll go through bit by bit. Some of it will be easier to find. Some of it not so much. So we'll go through that in a moment. Then let's see. I think everything else we can sort of play out a little bit. So Lefcadio, since before folks split up, you wanted to have a conversation about this Emerald Enclave thing. Why don't we start there for right now?
Right. So I think because my identity as an agent is kind of like hush-hush, showing up at their doorstep with a bunch of folks would be inadvisable. So I'd like to handle this on my own, if everyone trusts me with this book. And in fact, I'm not going to admit to having the book until I find out, what they want with it, and what we could get for it if we happen to have it. Is everyone okay with that plan, or does anyone want to suggest something else?
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
All right.
Well, this is the time and the place. What's on your mind, Nos?
I hear you, and you make sense, but you took a little long to explain to us that you're an agent for this organization. I trust you with everything except for this because of that. Do you understand that?
Sure. So do you want to hold on to the book then?
I can do. I just want to be present. I want to witness it for myself.
Well, that's the part that would put me in a sticky dilemma, because you're not supposed to know that I'm one of them.
So, what's the consequences?
Who do you value more, us or your organization?
Y'all escalated that so quickly.
It's a weird place to go, Taslan.
Well, my concerns is if you go alone, you may feel some obligation to give this artifact up for less than it may be worth.
Oh.
And I believe that we stand to gain some small amount, and I don't want them to manipulate you and your loyalty to them.
Well, at the end of the day, it's their property. So, if they
property
gave us
they lost,
right, and it'd be right and proper to return their property to them, so long as we trust them with it. And I think they're a stand-up organization. But again, you guys don't have any reason to think that. May I suggest a compromise? I know our good friend Kale here has the ability to watch people from afar. Perhaps he could watch my interaction and report back to you. Would this be agreeable?
Well, if I want to throw in my dwarf half cent, why don't we try a place that is on neutral ground? Ye not be going to your guild faction, or they not be on our ground either. Let's find somewhere neutral where everybody can watch and go from there.
Well, I don't know how things work in other places, but my understanding when I check in, as it were, is I'll be serving at their pleasure. So the idea of me walking in and say, hey, just checking in, got any missions for me? By the way, could you just leave and come with me to this other place for no reason?
Why not simply leave the item with us and you report and say that you have secured the whereabouts of this item and you need their assistance in procuring it from a willing...
I'm actually totally cool with the Kale eye from a distance thing. If he's cool with it, I think that at that point, Taslin, we're overcomplicating it, and Wapham.
And Taslin, I know that you have a pet that can do some similar things. So in case if you don't trust Kale to report what he sees, I'm happy to take your pet as well.
I trust Kale.
I don't even know what Kale thinks yet, though. Like, what do you think about that plan?
Obviously, I prefer to go with you. Would it be an issue if only I were to join you on this transfer?
I think so. Again, my affiliation with the Emerald Enclave is supposed to be secret. So if I bring anyone in to the Emerald Enclave, they kind of know that you know. And I don't want to put you all in that position, nor do I want them to know that I'll let you know.
Where's this conversation taking place, by the way? Like, are we on the middle of the street?
I assume you're probably somewhere in the Gentle Rest at this point.
Okay.
Like, you all have settled in, and now you're having a conversation about, like, sort of what the next steps are.
Well, you guys let me know what you decide. If I need to be there or not, I need to go get me a drink.
I think I'll join you.
Get me 3.
And
Whoa.
I will hand Iskar over to Kale.
What is Iskar the shape of right now?
I think he's a cat still.
Okay. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, I'm proficient in animal handling. It's fine. No, it's not really an animal.
Oh boy.
Okay. Yeah, I'll just be holding his car. And gosh. It's just Lefcadio, it's not that I don't trust you. Because I do, and as far as I don't consider it a risk to send you alone, because I believe that you will do exactly what you say you're going to do. But I don't know, I just kind of feel like maybe what if I were to you were to introduce me to someone in the Emerald Enclave, or well, I guess you're not supposed to do that at all.
This feels a little circular at this point.
I'm interested. Let's put it this way: I'm interested in joining the Emerald Enclave. If I could meet a member that could hook that up under just those auspices, and I can speak to some of them directly without you being involved. All you need to do is tell me where to go and who to talk to, and I will say I got the information somewhere else, I guess. I don't know. I've never known the Enclave to be a clandestine organization. This is kind of new ground for me.
Well, yeah, I that is not a bad idea, I don't think. I think it's two separate transactions on my part. You know, one is getting the information that I want to get, and the other is getting them out of there so that you can talk to them and do the things that you do. I see value in that, and I don't see a problem with that either. So yeah, I'm certainly agreeable to that.
Okay. That would be fine with me. I just want a chance to assess the character of the people you work with for myself.
All right.
I can make that happen.
Great. Before you give them the book.
Right.
Yeah.
Nos, are you going to hold on to the book for us?
I can do.
Right.
Okay. All right.
Here's the book. Remember, if you let go of it, it'll just stay there.
What if I stick it in
Weird
the back of my pants? What happens?
You try it. Let's see what happens.
I do. I stick it down the back of my pants, and then I try to walk.
You get butt sweat all over it.
Oh man, there's so many fun things we could do, but it feels like
Splinters.
I mean, can you really like not put this book in a bag?
You can. I mean, it's
Okay. Then I think you're probably as much fun as it would be for you to like be trying to walk away and be held back by this stationary book. I don't think it is quite the same as an immovable rod. So it
I'm still touching it.
Right.
Counts.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
As
That's where it'll
amusing as that
stay.
image is in my head right now.
right. So like I've never checked in this branch before.
Uh-huh.
I know the name of the location. Maybe Kale, you can help me, because I was really here just to shop last time. It seems like you were more cognizant of our surroundings, and you might know where things are.
This is news to me. What's the name of the location? It's probably not news to me. I'm sure you've sent it to me. I just don't remember.
Well, I have to look it up.
Oh, sorry. I'm a failure.
I know the person's name.
Oh, that would be helpful too. I think. Did you send me the name? Is it Melanor?
Yeah.
Fellbranch? Is it Falconmere?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, great. Oh, good. Oh, fantastic. So completely independently of whatever you were told before, I decided that that's who your contact was and that's where they were. So great. I mean, no, I planned this. I'm good at my job. Excellent. So so Falconmere is down in the southern ward, actually fairly close to the southern gate. Well, that's not true. It's about halfway down the southern ward, between where you are now and the southern gate, the south gate of the city. Not super hard to find, I have to say. It is a fairly large like manor compound with fancy gardens and stuff down in the southern ward. So.
Really?
So we probably passed it on our way.
No, probably not. I mean, if you were taking the fastest road up to the inn, you probably sort of stuck to the high road, the main drag, and it's sort of in between the high road and the way of the dragon, the two like major north-south roads in this area of the city. So yeah, but I mean, like I said, you could find it without too much trouble.
Oh, right, that's near Helm's Hall. I was very interested in that because Helm's from, a lot of people like him in the place where I'm from, Eldergard.
Yes, it is very near Helm's Hall, in fact. All right, great. So, Lefcadio to Falconmere, yes? Wampum to get drunk, or to drink, I should say. This is a much more difficult proposal, the former. Let's see. No, your character name is Tazlin, is going with Wampum. Nos is also going with Wampum?
Unless it's requested otherwise.
Okay.
The
And
voice
Kale,
signal.
are you sending an arcane eye right now? Or are you
No,
gonna...
I'm going to go with Lefcadio.
You're going to go with Lefcadio.
Oh, I misunderstood that, mate.
So did I.
I thought.
I thought he was going to set up something for you
That's what I thought.
without
yeah.
the book. So he's going to go say, blah, 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 I'm checking in. Also, I would like to set up a meeting with someone that I know who might be a good member of the Enclave or something like that, was my understanding.
That's what I took away from that conversation.
Okay, cool.
Oh. I mean, could I not? What would be the problem if I just went with you?
Well, because that would be the, unauthorized introduction, whereas if I arrange the introduction, then it's them saying, yeah, I'll meet this fella.
Could I just wait outside? Out in the street?
You could wait at Helms Hall, perhaps.
Yeah, if you want to wait, well, Helms Hall. Yeah, it's fine.
Since it is so very close by.
I just figured since you said you wanted me to help you find it, that I would be going with you, maybe. But yeah, if that's fine with you, I'll just wait outside in the street or something and just stare at the building.
Don't wait out the street. That might be weird. I mean,
Oh, that's right.
Be a little strange.
The guy with his cat.
if I want you, I'm going to vouch for you, and I don't want them to think I'm a nut because I'm suggesting a nut.
There's a nice tavern called the Beer Golem, pretty close to Falconmere too, if you want to go there instead.
Yeah.
You got options in the area, is all I'm
I got
saying.
options.
You got options.
Yeah, I'll figure something out.
All right.
Tell me where to find you, because I have to find you.
It's true.
I'll know when we get there. I'll just figure it out. I'll look
Okay.
at the building and I'll say I like that one. And
Okay. So the three of you are going to go drinking. Are you going to drink here in the what did I call this place? The something rest.
gentle rest.
Gentle rest,
yeah.
or are you wanting to go sort of exploring for your other establishments, Wampum?
Wampum would like to go just to a clothing establishment
Sure.
to get normal normal attire
I
instead
didn't even think about that. Yes.
of a spiky armor that is making people bleed.
Yes, there
Yeah,
is
that's
that. Yes. Yeah, absolutely. There's all kinds of places like that up in the northern area of the trades ward. So yeah, you can totally pick up some common clothes, and there's some fancy clothes at Mayroth's Fine Silks. Yeah, you can absolutely find whatever you need.
I'd be wanting that fine silk to be rolled.
All right. Okay, great. So yeah, you can get that from there. It's just sort of across the high road, across the street, and down a little ways.
I am definitely going with you for that one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Taslin's also gonna go, but he's gonna get he's gonna buy hard liquor before we leave and fill his canteen, his water skin with it,
I got.
and just kind of carry it with him as he's walking.
All right, so I will check in on what trouble the three of you get into shortly, but we're going to go down to the South Ward with Lefcadio and Kale. So you all make your way down. It is a nice enough day, so you all can take a little stroll. And you head down, and like I said, Kale, you have a general idea of sort of where Falconmere is, and once you get closer, it's pretty hard to miss. So you find that you can see it is very close to the other places that we talked about, to the Beer Golem if you want to go to a tavern, to Helm's Hall if you want to check out Helm's Temple down there. There are some there's a silversmith nearby, a cartographer's shop, all kinds of establishments around.
Photographer shop. And also on the way down there, just as we were leaving the tavern, I don't know if the three of them, you guys probably left. Well, me and Lefcadio were discussing things, I would assume.
This was my assumption.
Yeah, because that took about 10 minutes.
Yeah, it took forever. So, as we were leaving, I was going to give Iskar back to Taslim, but he's not there, so I just kind of put Iskar down.
Poor Iskar.
And I say, you'll be able to find him. You're a familiar. I assume that's how they work. I don't actually know, because I don't know how to cast that
And
spell.
Iskar just stares unblinking just up at you
I'll look at him for a second and then say, don't follow me. And then I'll leave.
Sweet, sweet freedom.
So does Iskar communicate with me as well as a familiar if I'm within range?
I mean,
communicate.
I don't see why not. Sure.
I don't even know what Iskar would sound like.
Well, I'll leave you to ponder that.
All right.
It's more, it's more of feelings than it is words.
Yeah, I don't think that's true. I don't think it's actual words. I think it's sort of impressions and emotions and things like that.
Cool.
All right, so the two of you head south. Kale, where are you going to hang out?
Cartographer's shop. Cartographer's
All
shop.
right.
Maps.
Maps. All right. So you head to Laren's Cartographers and browse the maps. Lefcadio, you arrive at Falconmere, and it is, like I said, quite the establishment, quite the compound, with a fancy manor house inside, gardens, well-tended gardens all over the place. And as you approach the gate, you see a half-elf who looks like he's the groundskeeper or something. He's bent over in one of the flower beds, sort of tilling and picking weeds and things like that. Just sort of, doing groundskeepery things.
I approach the groundskeeper and I say, "G'day, mate."
He looks up and sort of brushes off his hands and turns around and he says, a pleasant day to you.
I was wondering if you could help me. I'm looking for Melanor, and I flash my Emerald Enclave little pin that I have on the inside of my coat.
Mm-hmm. And he says, oh, well, I can say you've come to the right place. I'm Melanor Felbranch. Who might you be?
Oh, nice to meet you, Melanor. I'm Lafcadio Whitehorn. I've been sent from the West Gate region. I'm supposed to report to you my most recent mission. Are we good to talk here?
He says, you know what, we should, it's nothing terribly sensitive, but why don't we step inside for a moment? And so he'll lead you in to sort of clearly not the front entrance of this house. Maybe even the servant's entry is quite nice, but it's very clearly the servant's entrance. And he sort of leads you down a couple of sets of stairs and sets you up in a little kitchen, stone kitchen, serviceable, clean, but not fancy, overly fancy in any way. And there's sort of a nice dining table down there. And he sort of sits you down and says, all right, we're free to talk in here. So tell me a little bit more about you and where you've come from and what you're doing here.
Well, I hail from the Gulthamere Forest. And I'm a servant of Nabanian. And Nabanian guides my steps, and he guided me to join the Emerald Enclave. And I'm not much for this naturey stuff, like most of the folks in the organization, but I am good.
He's a little taken aback at that, but go on.
but I am good at getting into places on account of my winning personality. So my most recent mission was to head up into Neverwinter and evaluate the new Lord Protector. And just they were concerned about another catastrophe like that happened a while back with the explosion of
Mount Hope now, yes, of course.
Right, so they just wanted to make sure any of the magical items that were at his disposal wouldn't lead to another major natural or unnatural disaster. So that's what I was all about doing. But it turns out that guy, he's not there anymore. Probably dead. I've ingratiated myself with a couple of the other factions up there. I'm actually a member of the Hoppers as well as a member of the Lord's Alliance. So I'm real deep undercover there, and I'm happy to continue doing that. But I was just checking to see if you have anything specific that you'd like me to do.
Gods above, Lefcadio Whitehorn, you've been a busy one, haven't you? All right, so wait, let me make sure I've got this straight. So you were sent up to Neverwinter to investigate the Lord Protector there, and he's no longer there.
Right, he's dead.
All right.
It seemed like either when I got there, he was alive, and at some point after he was replaced by a body snatcher type thing, and that guy died, or he was the body snatcher guy the whole time. And then we killed the guy who was responsible for that bit. But either way, he ain't there anymore.
And they wonder why I prefer it down here in Waterdeep. So who's in charge of Neverwinter now, then?
Well, when we left, which was a while ago, they were going to hold an election. We got caught up in the Feywild, and I don't know how much time has passed, but I reckon it has resolved itself by now. I haven't heard who's in charge now. I'm happy to go back up there and find out if that's something you like.
Well, perhaps in due time, but I suppose the most important thing for the organization to know is what became of the magical artifacts that you mentioned that we were so concerned about in the first place. Are they a concern to us?
I never got the chance because the relationship
right.
I established with the fella went nowhere because he died.
Of course. Interesting. Well, he sort of thinks for a moment. He says, honestly, the story is interesting to me just because it's an interesting story. But I think perhaps this is something better dealt with by our brothers and sisters and other siblings up a bit closer to the Jewel of the North. So I'm going to send word to them. And we'll see what they have to say about the situation there. Something tells me they perhaps have a bit more information anyway. All right, well, that takes care of your mission in terms of Neverwinter. What brings you to Waterdeep then? Anything in particular?
We're on our way back up there, and I thought I'd just check in. I was given your name when I was sent off. When I found any information, I should check in with you. So that's what I'm doing now. I've been traveling about a bunch, and I've come across some interesting items, and it got me remembering about stories that I've heard of a legendary item that the Emerald Enclave lost a while ago. It was a book, Leaves of Green or something like that. It was a very storied item, and it's because since I have a knack of getting into places and finding out information, I was wondering if that's something you'd be interested in, and if I should, maybe try to find that.
He looks like that name sort of rung some sort of bell, and he says, I know I've heard that name before, but I can't quite figure out how I know it. He says, but if it's a storied artifact of the Enclave, I imagine, yes, we'd like to have it back. I'll do a bit of research, see what I can drum up about it, and if you happen to run across it on your travels, I'm sure the Enclave would be appreciative to get it back. Yeah, absolutely. He says, seems like you've had quite a set of adventures, and I've got plenty of things on my plate here in terms of Enclave business, but seems a bit... some of the things I have seem a bit beneath you, if I'm being honest. I don't know you well, but you seem like a capable sort, and I'm not sure I really want to send you off to the City of the Dead to help us root out a naughty necromancer or something of that level. You know what I mean? Doesn't seem really worthy of your talents. So he sort of thinks for a moment, and he says, I'll keep it in mind, though. I'll definitely reach out to our folks up a little bit further north. I'll look into Leaves of Green. Yeah. He says, if you've got a bit of time, I think perhaps there might be someone that would like to be meeting you.
Do tell.
He says, well, I'm the groundskeeper here at Falconmere, and certainly do have a bit of sway in the organization, but my superior officer, as it were, she's quite the lady. She doesn't generally like to mess about with the sort of day-to-day of the organization, but something tells me someone of your caliber might be interesting to her.
I'm all ears.
He says, why don't you go back out to the gardens where I met you, and I'll let her know you're here, and she'll be out presently.
Well, excellent. I'll do that. I did have one other point of business. I don't know if I should talk to you about it or to her about it.
What's that, then?
Well, I've been traveling with some folks, and one of them is very sharp. He's very resourceful. He just knows everything, And if for some reason you kind of stump him, he can somehow still find the answer. Just pluck it out of the divine. It seems.
Useful sort.
I think so, quite. And I'd like to, I'd like to nominate him, or maybe speak on his behalf. Maybe he'd be the member of the organization.
Interesting. He says he's the bright sort. Is he one to help us guide the balance of things, as it were?
He's a proper fella, and while I'm really good at getting into places, it's possible that I'm not the best judge of character. Maybe you would like to interview this fella. I could set up some sort of meeting like that.
I appreciate your honesty and your discretion. Yes, I can't see it hurting much. If he's a companion of yours, I think we wouldn't be risking too much by meeting.
Should I invite him in here, or do you want to meet him somewhere else?
No, I think we'll arrange a trip to... Hold on. A trip to perhaps up to the Shrines of Nature up in the Seaward. It's a bit more public, and yet it is a gated area, so he'll require an invitation. It'll be private enough, but it won't be directly on Enclave soil. I feel like that seems a bit better for this type of thing.
Very good.
Excellent. Well, thank you for that update. Why don't you go wait outside, and I'll send Our Lady down shortly.
You said he'd require an invitation. Do I need to actually give him a piece of paper or something?
No, I'll have it set up. You've given me his name. I've already forgotten. Or did I? You not give it to me?
His name is Cale Irvine.
Excellent. I'll have it. All he'll need to do is present himself. Why don't we say midday tomorrow, high sun tomorrow, at the gates of the Shrines of Nature, and he'll be on the list, as they say.
Very good. I'll do that. And I'll go out and wait for the lady.
Excellent. All right, so you head outside, and we're going to hop to our shopping troublemakers up here for just a moment. So the three of you have gone, collected some clothing. You can take some time if you want, and also just get a few things off of your supply lists. And then, where are we drinking, or what's up next for the three of you?
Taslin wants to go find a magical jewelry shop.
Okay. So you're going to split off and go look for that.
Yeah, and
Wampum?
I mean, he's going to get some new robes, too. Maybe not all black and white.
Sure.
Maybe he'll get, like, a gray one?
Sure. Wampum, how about you?
I'm going to make my rounds. For lack of a better word, let's do some tavern hopping.
Yeah, great. Love that.
And I want to make sure that the taps are loose, and things are flowing well, and making sure that the Thunderbelly name is being promoted.
Love that. And Nos?
I'll go with Taslin, since it seems like Wampum's on official duty there. But,
all right, so Wampum, why don't you... I'll hop back to you two in just a moment. Sorry about that. Wampum, why don't you toss me 3 percentile rolls?
Sure.
And while you're working on that, Nos and Taslin. Nos, I know you sent me a list of things that you were looking for in terms of magic stuff. Taslin, will you just send me a little message about what the things you're looking for specifically are? You may have already done that, but just send me a new one so I have it right there.
But yeah, I can
great. Just send that, and then we'll sort of deal with that way. Excellent. It's a 40 for Wampa, 93, and...
one more.
Ooh, and a 4. All right. So the first place that you go is, sort of mid-tier tavern. Your stuff is on tap. It's flowing. It's selling fine. It's sort of nothing exceptional here. This tavern owner sort of seems to have fingers in a lot of pies. So he's not sort of, highlighting your family's ale, but he's certainly not hiding it. And it's doing just fine at that first one.
All right, I will. I'll approach him and how's the Thunderbelly selling?
He sort of. Do you introduce yourself, or do you just go straight with the question?
I'm just going to go straight for that.
I love it. He'll look a little taken aback, and he says, "Well, it's doing just fine, I suppose. We've had it, it's a solid backbone seller. Has been for a while. Nothing special, but does all right."
So, what you people been saying about it?
He says, "Well, to be honest with you, that's sort of the nice thing about Thunderbelly Ale. The people who know it know it. Kind of speaks for itself. It's a sturdy, basic ale. Haven't said too much, to be honest. It's nice to meet you. What's your curiosity, if you don't mind me asking?"
Well, that be me father's ale, you see.
His eyes get real big.
So I was just checking in with you to see if everything be flowing smartly and if you need any help from the Thunderbelly clan.
He stumbles over himself a little bit, and he says, "Oh, Master Thunderbelly, yes. I certainly didn't mean to suggest that there was not that your family's ale didn't hold a special something. I simply meant that it speaks for itself, and it's so well known."
Calm down. I was just checking to see if it's selling. That's all.
He sort of takes a deep breath, and he says, "Yes, of course. It is selling just fine. As I said, we appreciate its reliableness."
Well, in that case, give me a mug, you see.
He says, "Absolutely," and he sort of, with a sigh of a bit of relief, runs off to grab you a mug of it and brings it back.
How many are there in here?
How many people or how many taps? Patrons. It's probably, let's see, by the time you all got in, it's getting on early evening, I think, at this point, probably. So I'd say it's maybe 2/3 full. So there's a solid, 40 to 50 patrons, I think, in here at the moment. It's a fairly large establishment.
Well, and Wampum will turn over his shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
Mug of Thunderbelly ale on this dwarf, you see.
That gets a cheer, I think.
So whoever is coming up to the bar, and then I'll toss him. Let's say I'll toss him a platinum piece for his business.
Oh, great. Yes, absolutely. He loves that. You get a big old cheer from the folks at the bar who are ordering, and they're all a couple of them come over and thank you and slap you on the back. And once the bartender manages to pick his jaw up off the floor, he scoops up the platinum piece and just thanks you profusely and says there's going to be actually a space opening up in pretty soon, as soon as this keg is finished, and maybe we'll move the Thunderbelly Ale into a place of prominence for a little while, just to celebrate your visit, Master Thunderbelly.
I like you talking.
The second place that you go to check out is one of the newer places that you get the impression it's one of the newer places that's taken on the Thunderbelly Ale, and it is doing spectacularly. I mean, obviously the ale is good quality, but the tavern owner here has sort of like really done some good marketing for it, right? It's like it's in a foremost place. They've been sort of doing specials on it and making sure to get the word out about this new ale that they've got. And, there are some folks who come to this place that already sort of know about it, but what they've really targeted are the folks who've never heard of it before, so they can really sell how special it is. So it's doing incredibly well in here in this second place that you go into.
Mr. Keeper.
The bartender turns around and says, "What can I get you?"
I see your Thunderbelly be selling.
He says, "Oh yes, we've got a special. You end up with 3 by the end of the night. We'll give you a 4th one on us."
I like you. So, what's the public been saying about the taste of it? You see.
He sort of slides closer and he says, "Well, first I got to ask, have you had the opportunity to try it yet?"
Well, it's been a day or two. But
he laughs at that.
I could use a mug, and I'll let me family know just how well it's selling.
And he sort of nods. Well, let's see if he catches on. No, he doesn't. So he fills you up a mug and he sets it down and he says, "So you've had it before, it's a solid, and he sort of compliments all the things about Thunderbelly Ale, and he says, he tells you basically what I said before, which is that there are things about it that are unique enough that he can rope in folks who haven't tried it before and really sell them on that, and they seem to really enjoy those particularly unique flavors."
Well, you see, you're doing me proud. You're doing me Father's brand awful proud.
Well, that's pretty hard to miss. So he sort of looks confused and he says, "Your father's? Or you?"
I'd be Wampum Thunderbelly, you see.
He says, "Well, we've got a regular celebrity in the house," and he reaches out to shake your forearm, and it's just in fact, I think he is going to sort of do what you did at the last place, except it'll all be on the house, and he'll sort of say, he'll, without asking you permission, but he will announce your presence and tell everybody that a round of Thunderbelly is on the house in honor of their distinguished guest.
Aye, Thunderbelly Ale for everyone. And then I'm going to ask him if he has a quarter keg set aside.
Oh, absolutely. I'm sure they've got quite a stock. So yeah, he could absolutely find that for you.
Can I have someone deliver me a quarter keg down to Argos at the Southern Gate?
Absolutely. Yeah, he'll absolutely do that, and it'll be at cost, whatever. He's not gonna, upsell you in any way for it. Excellent. So he will send that right over. The third place you go, though, you can find neither hide nor hair of the Thunderbelly Ale in this particular establishment where you expected to find it.
So I'm going to stop. I'm going to turn back around and go back to the place I was just at.
Okay. And the barkeep sees you walk back in and he says, "Back so soon? We were just about to send the quarter keg for you."
Well, that I need sent, but I also need a full keg delivered to this dive down the street that has not even thought about selling Thunderbelly Ale.
The barkeep in here sort of like the equivalent of dollar signs just appear in his eyes, and he gets real excited and he says, so a little bit of subcontracting out the supply chain, huh?"
I'd be checking in just to make sure everything be okay.
He says, all right. Fair enough. Yes, I can definitely set them up, and I'll encourage them not to let their stock lapse again.
That I'd be thinking, and I'll throw him an extra. I'll throw him double the cost of the cake.
I love it. He is grateful.
And then I'm going to stay with him and drink for a while.
Cool. Great. So this was all awesome. Here's what I want you to do, and we'll come back to it in a minute. So write the numbers down. But what I want you to do is I would love for you, gosh, what are we going to call it? Let's call it charisma persuasion, I guess. Or this is the one. I'm generally super on board with all the 5e skill changes from 3.5. I really misgather information. So some sort of charisma check. I don't know why I don't have your sheet up. But make so you're going to make 2 of them. The first one for the first bar and the second one for the second bar. And the second bar you can do at advantage because you are so very popular there.
It's still crappy, even at advantage.
Okay. All right. Well, that's fine. Okay, so we've got those. So that's just going to be sort of rumors and stuff that you hear while you're chatting with these folks at the bar, and okay. We'll sort of come back and deal with that shortly since you are spending a bit of time there. All right, you magic searchers, that was a weird transition. Greater healing, quarterstaff, just looking at what you all want to find. All right, so Nos, I know you were looking for a drift globe. What's funny is make me an intelligence history check, Nos.
Oh no. Why would you do this?
Assist her with this?
Sure.
Since we're traveling together?
Sure.
10.
Okay, there is something. Why don't you make me one too? I know you. We'll stick with the 10, but why don't you make me one too, Taslin?
Okay,
The
and that's
roads,
history.
the roads be terrible.
Yeah, right. Nos, you've heard there's something about drift globes in Waterdeep, which maybe is one of the reasons that you were sort of looking for one maybe here. Taslin, when Nos mentions that that's one of the things she's looking for, you happen to know that Waterdeep has this super weird thing that happens almost every night, which is that like there are these drift globes that are all over the city. I'm going to get this backwards. But every night, let's see if I can find this. Every night, these drift globes that sort of are just scattered, all over the city, lighting up the city at various places. Here it is. Blah, 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 blah.
They go to like the City of Dead, right?
Yeah, but what I'm trying to remember is if they go at night or if they spread out. Well, we're going to just decide that every night, at the end of the night, once they've finished sort of lighting up the city, all of these drift globes, and I mean like dozens of drift globes, make their way of their own volition to the City of the Dead, where they sort of collect for the day and sort of wink out. And they don't really belong to anyone. You don't really know like what the deal is with those, but like, if Nos wants to maybe take one of those, you're like, that's one way to get a drift globe in Waterdeep.
Drift globes. At night, I do believe they float above the city and float to the cemetery, or the, what was it called? The location of the dead?
The City of the Dead.
The City of the Dead, and they don't belong to anybody. I'm sure you could take one if you so wished.
Oh, I'm sorry. I did have it backwards. So at dusk, they all light up and go to the City of the Dead, and then they go back out into the city at dawn.
Oh.
Anyway.
So,
yes.
I tell her that.
Yeah.
Well, that sounds
this entire time,
particularly-
Taslin was just taking swigs of his, heavy alcohol.
That's why you got confused about which way it went.
Also, he's only been here once, so...
Right. Also that.
Well, that sounds particularly disturbing, especially if the information is coming from you about a graveyard.
Oh, yes.
The one with the shovel?
Actually, I would like my shovel back.
Yeah, you can have it back. Here you go. By the way,
Never
as
will
we
he do without his shovel.
first off, Nos has a not just a flask, but a whole bottle of hard liquor wrapped in a paper bag.
Okay, I love it.
And she's just
Y'all-
necking this
y'all.
thing.
The adventures
Yeah.
of
Beside him.
Taslin
I love it.
just day drinking.
And after we exited the clothing shop, I have discarded the weird Eladrin getup that grows every now and then.
Right.
And I am in this really awesome tailcoat ensemble that is black with metallic gold threading woven into it. It's just very fancy. It's very fancy.
Cool. I love it. Excellent. So you all have that option for your drift globe. I would say, so some of the other things that you all asked for that we'll just sort of do really easily. Taslin, you were looking for potions of greater healing. You can find 3 of those without any problem.
Sweet.
There are a few other items that you all asked me about. What you can do, and we'll come back to this, but if you want to look for them to buy, you can make intelligence investigation checks to sort of get a lead on them. Also, Taslin, you would know that particularly you were looking for a magical quarterstaff. You would know that another way to maybe go about doing that would be to find a representative of the Watchful Order of mages and maybe see if they could do some enchanting on the quarterstaff that you already own.
Oh, yeah.
Is another sort of option. Great. Cool. So, Nos, is that display of drift globes interesting to you, or would you rather go through more established means to procure one?
Established, because I'm willing to bet that those are people.
Oh, don't be so superstitious.
Oh boy, I love it. Okay, fantastic. So we are going to. I'm going to do a little bit of scrawling and scribbling and figuring out all of that stuff here in a moment. We are about to go to our break, so we will, because I love a good, exciting moment before we go to break. So we're going to hop back to Falconmere really quickly. Lefkadio, you're out in the garden. And very strange, you just sort of hear a voice, a woman's voice, from behind you say, "Ah, you must be Master Whitehorn. It is a pleasure to meet you." And you turn around, and there's no one there. Uh-huh. She sort of laughs and says, "Oh, he didn't warn you. He does. I'm sure he's watching from just upstairs. He does so enjoy a bit of confusion when people meet me for the first time. It is a pleasure to meet you. My name is Jareth Falcon. My family owns this estate, and I am a member of the Emerald Enclave. Had an experience with my goddess not long ago, and seems I've left my material form behind, but that's neither here nor there. I think you and I might have some things to talk about." And that's where we'll have our break. We'll be back in just a few minutes, folks. While we are gone, get your wallets out and donate to the Trevor Project. Also, go get some more water. Stay hydrated. Drink your water, folks. We'll see you in about 15 minutes. All right. Welcome back, everybody. Thank you so much for sticking with us here on Crituitous RP with the Half Rate Heroes. So glad to have you here. Hope you all enjoyed your break. Do want to mention, I'm not going to say one more time because I'll probably do it at the end as well, but do we want to mention again that we are raising money for the Trevor Project. If you are willing and able, we would really appreciate any donations. We've got a $500 goal for Pride Month for the rest of June. If we hit $500 by the end of this month, we will be giving away a D&D Beyond Legendary Bundle to one of the donors. So help us get to that goal. Help us help this really incredible organization, and enter for a chance to win a Legendary Bundle, which gives you access to everything that's come out so far on D&D Beyond in terms of source books, and will give you it's either 20 or 25% discount on all future purchases. So awesome stuff there. Let us jump right back into it now, though. Lefkadio, you just met someone who
Jareth.
said Jareth. Yes, sorry, I just meant because they didn't have a corporeal form,
right.
some thing who said they are sort of the leader of the Enclave in this area. And she said that you all might have something to talk about. She says, "I understand from what Melanor mentioned to me that you've seen quite a bit of the world and then some. Is that correct?"
That would be an accurate representation of my experiences thus far.
And he mentioned that you have at least one friend, traveling companion, with you. Have you others? Are you a full-fledged adventuring party, as they call them?
Yeah. We've got brains, we've got brawn, we've got it all.
She says, "Excellent. Well, I don't know whether or not my caution in this matter is warranted, but I have been putting off investigating a particular matter for some time, simply because it seemed to have the potential to be quite dangerous, and individuals of your caliber serving the Emerald Enclave are rare here in Waterdeep, unless they are passing through, as you and your companions are."
Can I interrupt for just a second?
Of course you can.
Is the voice coming from a very specific area, or is it coming from all around me?
It's coming from a specific point, but the point is sort of moving, sort of not quite circling you. It's not like a shark or something, but like it is moving about almost as if, like you could imagine it belonging to someone who's pacing back and forth near you, but there really isn't anything there.
Okay, very good. Continue.
She says, "You see, not too terribly long ago, there was a disturbance, a shaking, a rippling of the weave of magic, I really don't know how to describe it. Very few would have noticed anything at all. In fact, it is only my status and my connection to Mieliki, my goddess, that allowed me to feel these disturbances. Well, that and her concern as well in the matter. It seems there was something that happened here in Waterdeep that rippled out to the upper planes to the extent that she noticed it and came to me asking as one of her chosen to look into it. Unfortunately, though my current state gives me many advantages, there are certain drawbacks, and I was only able to find out so much, and am in need of some assistance to investigate further.
Well, absolutely. I'm here. I'm looking for work, and this sounds like it could be right up my alley. What do you got for me?
It does indeed. She says, as I said, I've not been able to find out much. As I said, some sort of a disturbance of the weave of magic occurred that rippled through the upper planes. All that I've really been able to determine is that the origin, the epicenter of the disturbance, seems to have been somewhere near the Temple of the Seldarine here in the city. Are you aware of where that's located?
I'm not, but like I said, we've got a really smart bloke in our group. Or you could just tell me, either way.
She says, no, of course, I had every intention of telling you where it was. It doesn't need to remain a secret between us. She says, it's in the castle ward, just a few paces, a few minutes walk north of the Hawkman, the wandering statue that is a bit hard to miss there in the castle ward. The Temple of the Seldarine is a complex of temples, really, is a more accurate description of it, that venerate all of the gods of the Seldarine, the pantheon of the elves. Whatever happened there. That's as much information as I was able to gather, but considering how powerful it was, powerful enough to catch the attention of Mieliki herself, I feel that it warrants a bit of caution and someone, as I said, of your caliber to investigate. I don't know what could have caused a ripple like that. Its effects beyond garnering the notice of Our Lady are yet unknown, but we would like to figure out what caused it and what it was before any ill effects can take place. It seems fairly simple and straightforward, but you never know what one might find.
Right. Well, yeah. I'm definitely up for taking a look, and I'll muster the forces, as it were, and we'll find out what's going on, and anything I find out, I'll be back and tell you about.
I do so appreciate it. I suppose since we are discussing caution, why don't you take this? And you feel a sort of strange, comforting warmth suffuse you, and you have been given a charm of restoration by this chosen of Mieliki. You have, really quickly, the Charm of Restoration has 6 charges. You can use an action to expend them to cast either Greater or Lesser Restoration. Greater costs 4 charges and Lesser costs 2. Once all of the charges have been expended, the charm vanishes from you.
Well, I don't know what to say. I really appreciate it, and I'll use it wisely.
I hope that you do, and I hope that in the end my caution is unwarranted. But be careful out there.
Will do.
Let's hop to Kale. Kale, what you doing in this cartographer's shop?
Checking out maps, yo.
Anything in particular you want to find a map of?
I guess I'll ask what's like their rarest map.
Oh.
They have maps from other planes?
That I don't think he has. I do. Let's see. What have they got in there? They've got pretty much the vast majority of Toril mapped pretty impressively I think probably the rarest thing he has is also probably his like least complete and least detailed map, but he does have a reasonably complete map of the jungles of Chult. That he sort of says you won't find a map this detailed of those jungles anywhere north of Baldur's Gate at the very least, and probably quite a ways south of that too. Not too many people make it down to Chult and come back to tell us what it looks like.
No, I've heard a lot of crazy things about Chult. It sounds like a very interesting place, and I'd like to visit it one day, but, people, if gods would stop asking me to do shit. But, yeah, could I have maybe a copy of it? I'm sure you don't want to give up your original, but...
He says, well, certainly we could make a copy of it for you. It'll take some time. We wouldn't want it to be of lesser quality. Some time and some expense, but absolutely we could make that happen.
Great, yes. I would love to do that. And also if I could get a set of cartographer's tools, I'd love to learn how to make maps myself.
Absolutely. Yeah, so the cartographer's tools he can sell you at whatever the price is in the handbook. The map, copying the map well, he says will take about a 10-day to really do it well, and will cost you, let's see. Will cost you 11 gold.
Okay. Do you need that up front?
Half now, half then is fine.
Okay. I mean, well, I'll just give it to you now.
He'll happily take that.
I don't want you to worry about it, so I will get...
You all have clearly been adventuring for long enough that you have forgotten the value of a gold. You all are just tossing this money, and people are like, the fuck is happening? Great,
so,
yeah.
And then, what else was I going to say? I guess I could ask, so how long have you had your shop set up here?
He's had the family shop has been there for almost a century now.
It's a century, okay. Mm-hmm. So I imagine you're pretty familiar with the surrounding area.
He says, absolutely. My family's lived here for quite some time.
And you make maps, so...
That too.
I'm curious, what sort of, maybe, what's the word, rumors do you know about, or if there's any mythology surrounding Falconmere?
He wasn't expecting that. Yeah, I mean, he doesn't... Well, let's see what he knows about it. Let's not assume. It is very nice. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, like, it's owned by the Falcon family, who, he hasn't actually seen much of any member of the Falcon family in some time. There's a kindly older groundskeeper that sort of keeps the place in immaculate condition. He swears he's got to be using some kind of magic because it's impressive how immaculate that place is all the time. But yeah, I mean, no one really comes in or out very often. Occasionally they'll get visitors who have permission to sort of tour the grounds, but he doesn't really. They sort of keep to themselves, and his family has never had any reason to,
Sure. I was just curious.
Sure.
It was a point of interest for me. Also, another point of interest, I just remembered, came to my head. I heard a rumor last time I was here that there's a vast underground system, place, location, a lot of stuff going on under the city, called Undermount.
Yes.
If you've had any maps of any of that?
Oh, he just might. Yes, he does. In fact, he has. Let's see. He's known. His family has known Durnan for some time. Uncanny how long that man has been around and seems to not age a day. Very strange. Anyway, yeah. So he's got the first. He's got maps that he believes are fair. He's never been down there. He'll be very upfront about that. But he's got maps of the first 7 levels of Undermountain that he feels like are reasonably reliable.
Okay. If I get copies of those too, that'd be great.
Yeah, those. So that'll probably be all together to get them all done. Probably be another 10-day or so. He can have a couple of people work on it, and it's a total of 1, 3, 6, 10, 15, 21. So it'd be a total of 28 gold for all 7 levels for copies of it all.
Okay. Yeah, I'll just pay that to him.
He hesitates for a moment before he says the total as he counts it up, and then he remembers the casualness with which you tossed 11 gold dragons on the table, and he's like, "Nah, fuck it, 28."
And I drop 28 more. I just reach my bag and
so he
pull
will,
exactly the number out.
He'll also, like, you kind of have gotten him to give you priority on some of these things, so he'll get it done as fast as he can.
Okay. Map of Jolt. And you mentioned there for a second, don't think I didn't catch that. What's up with this Durnan guy?
Oh, he says the proprietor of the Yawning Portal. Yeah, he's owned that place for some time, built it on top of one of the only real reliable known entrances to Undermountain, charges for folks to go down. Been here a long time. Long time, that man.
Oh, okay. Interesting. And the Yawning Portal, I believe I heard that before. That's near the Castle Ward?
Yes. Whoops. Yeah, let me make sure I get its location correct. Yes, it is sort of on the southern end of the Castle Ward, northern end of the Dock Ward, just off of Snail Street, near Cook Street. Ask around anyone from that area, in that area, will be able to guide you towards it.
Okay. Well, great. Thank you so much for the information.
Thank you for your patronage, sir.
Absolutely. I hope I will be here in a 10-day. That's part of the reason I wanted to give you the money up front. I don't know if I might need to move quickly. In that case, I might send somebody to pick it up.
He's like, yes, please do. You've been more than generous, and I would like to make sure we get you your products.
Sure. If I do send somebody, they will have a symbol of Denier, and I'll pull out a amulet I've always worn and have always had a symbol of Denier on it. I'll say they have this symbol, and they'll say my full name, and which is Cale Irvine.
As you pull it out, you see him sort of reach behind the counter, and he pulls out a little candle that has sort of a like a ribbon wrapped around the base of it that's stamped with the symbol of Denier, and he says, "Cartographers are not such a far cry from scribes. I'm familiar with the worship."
Awesome. So you know the secret handshake, right?
Yeah, of course.
Pound it, bro.
He does. Oh, thank goodness. He does know the secret handshake. That's
right,
the
cool.
one. Anyway. All right, excellent. I love it. Let's hop back to our friends that have been shopping. So, actually, I am looking... Yes, I am going to do this. We'll do this very quickly. So, Taslin.
That's me.
You want a magical quarterstaff. Do you want to... You can find that limited featherfall, no problem.
So
yeah, that's fine.
just get
We'll
me a number. Taslin's not going to negotiate. He's just going to throw the gold down. As long as it's like,
I will call it. We'll call it 60 for because
Okay.
it's a common, so we'll call it 60.
Okay, yeah, he throws that down.
God, they're just like, I should have said 80. Which is real live audio of me negotiating every contract I've ever negotiated. Damn it, I should have asked for more. The quarterstaff is a little more complicated. So do you want to try and find one, or do you want to go to the Watchful Order and ask them to sort of enchant you one?
I mean, Taslin has had this quarterstaff for as long as he can remember. He wouldn't mind enchanting it, but he really doesn't want it to be out of his hands for longer than like an hour.
Yeah, I mean, even a cursory knowledge of how magic items work and are created would let you know that it's gonna take more than that.
Yeah. So he would just look to buy a brand new staff.
Oofta.
And then
Okay.
he would just store this staff probably like in the bag of holding.
All right, great. So let's see. We got your 21 there. So yeah, I mean, you can put out feelers and Wampum, how about you? Same sort of question with your axe. Taslim could probably tell you that you could go to the Mages Guild to get an axe that you're like a mundane axe enchanted, or you can try and find a new, already enchanted one.
I think I'd rather head to the forges and talk to my people.
Yeah, definitely. So that's a little bit separate. I'll come back to the axe. Nos, you and Taslim, for all the things that you're looking for, which is a magical quarterstaff, dimensional shackles, okay, and a drift globe, it'll take, at least, probably at least a 10-day for folks to go out, get in touch with their contacts, see what they can rustle up, and then they'll be able to have news for you. None of it's going to be cheap, for sure. The Drift Club might, because they're a little, they're a little more ubiquitous and don't quite have the potential to wreak as much havoc as some other things. But the other things, it won't be cheap, might take a little while, but folks will put feelers out for you guys if you're willing to.
This is just an as I come by sort of situation. The drift globe is the only thing that I'm willing to actually like.
Great. Why don't you roll me an investigation check then, Nos, and let's see if we can rustle one up on the spot for you.
14.
Yeah, it's a common enough thing that I think you can. It's not going to be cheap. Sort of on-demand shopping for magic items won't be cheap. But you can definitely get one for 500 gold right away.
I'll do you 450.
Charisma persuasion. It's not much of a cutoff, so it won't be. Yeah, 12's enough. That's fine. It's 50 gold. It's fine at that point.
Good.
All right, so sure.
As we're walking and trying to find these things, I'm going to turn to Taslim and say, Taz, ICT.
Yes.
I'm gonna get real heavy on you for a second.
Oh joy! I'm not sure if I can carry you.
And then she puts her arm around him and just kind of hangs on him.
Oh.
The worst.
When did you know that you wanted to spend like 100 years with Raziel?
Oh man, that is heavy.
Like, what is the definition of love?
Taslim brings his flask up to his lips and takes a solid 5 seconds of just straight chugging, and then pulls out. I knew it the minute I laid eyes on her. It's not a single thought that you think. It's a feeling. Imagine, and what's she wearing at the moment? She has her cloak and
she's got a gold and black tailcoat on, and she's got a ruffly collared shirt on underneath that. Very fancy looking.
Yeah,
nice
so
riding boots.
he grabs a hold of the end of your sleeve, and he just goes and gives it a light tug. And he goes, imagine that every time that this sleeve is tugged is that person. You are inevitably drawn to them. Like in nature, fall will always follow summer. And winter will always follow fall. It's just the inevitability of life, and it's just unexplainable. That's the best I can do.
So
Disney.
So love is synonymous to doom?
Ah!
I suppose so. Many a lover has found themselves on the wrong end of a knife due to love, I suppose.
What? This got out of hand so fast.
My flaw is doom and gloom.
No shit.
Oh, the Shadowfell's not so bad.
But he pauses and
All right,
he just
you.
goes, who do you think you're in love with?
Oh, it's not for me. It's from a friend.
No.
Deception.
Yeah.
I got an 8.
Oh, insight. Wisdom insight.
Okay.
Taslim.
Oh, I will roll my insight. Taslim's been around the block a few times.
Yeah.
Watch, I roll that one.
Crit fail.
Or
It is for a friend. You're a little confused because you're pretty sure you
Taslin,
know
like,
all of her
scratches his head.
friends.
He's like, I thought we were your only friend.
Right.
Yes.
Yes, that's right. You're drunk anyway. No wonder you got a 4.
Well, tell your friend that if they think they're in love, they're probably in love. Or they're just, I don't know, having the folly of youth or of mortals. I don't know what to tell you. I got pretty lucky. Like,
I appreciate your honesty.
That if I say enough words, something wise will come out.
he's like continuously sipping. He's like, yeah, that sounds good.
I've known people like that.
And,
So yeah, stabs.
Great.
What
Amazing.
are you looking for? I've kind of forgotten. Oh, I want a staff. Don't you think it would be cool if I had a staff? I mean, I'm sure you saw I tried to hit Anders on the head and I missed.
Who?
Andy's.
And
No, I know.
I mean, but he's also and I whiffed it. I mean, I whiffed it.
Well, you know, we all have our strengths. Melee combat is not yours.
Also,
But
it's a
okay.
poor craftsman that blames the tools, my friend.
But I just, and he like leans on us. He's like, I just really want a cool staff to hit people with.
You need to get ones with flames up and down the side. I have seen some. They're not here.
Let's find one and get it.
Okay, let's do it. Come on.
Perfect segue. Wampum, home lord. Wampum, you can go to some of the forges, check out some of your people, and why don't you make me a charisma persuasion check with advantage as you're chatting with these folks to see what they can rustle up for you. I assume when you say your people, you mean dwarf forgers, dwarf blacksmiths. Yeah. Ooh, look at that. That's a 21. All right, fantastic. So yeah, you find one that is particularly fond of your family's ale. You get to talking and chatting, and through a series of like very confusing like my brother's sister knows this one's aunt and this and that. Anyway, to make a long story short, he can get you. He can forge you a new axe and probably convince somebody in the Watchful Order to enchant it for you for a relatively reasonable price. It'll take probably the fastest that he can do and still be happy with the craftsmanship. It's 10 day, and that's assuming that his contact or his whatever contact in the Watchful Order is available. But so he says minimum a 10 day, hopefully not longer than a 10 day and a half to get it to you, and it'll probably cost you about 350 gold, assuming he can sort of talk the mage into it.
There's no bargaining in this heart, because I'd be knowing that you'd be putting your skill in it.
Yeah, and he's also he's going to give you the best deal he can. So
I tell you what, if I throw a keg of Thunderbelly, can you put on another person on it?
Yeah, absolutely. So he'll try and get that. He'll try and bring that down then, by a couple of days, so that hopefully the upper end is a 10 day now instead of a 10 day and a half.
Okay.
Yeah, I love that. He's all about it.
And that's what I'll do.
Okay. All right, Lefcadio. So you've gotten this request from this woman ? What are you? And you also have secured an invitation for Kale, sort of. So what are you going to do next? What are you going to do next?
I'm going to head out and find Kale in the map shop.
All right. You find Kale in the map shop.
Kale, mate, you find anything good?
I did. I'm gonna get copies of it. I'll have to come back later to get it though. Also, I got cartographer's tools, so I can learn how to make maps for myself. It should be fun. How did your meeting go?
Went well. I have secured a meeting for you with the representative that I report to here. It's not today, though. It'll be tomorrow. And it'll be in a public space. And that's pretty much it. He didn't seem to know much about the book. He says he's going to, do some research about it. And I guess when he finds more information about the book, then we'll be able to, determine, if we can get a reward for it or something like that. Or maybe I can convince him if I find I have someone and I can buy it from him, that sort of thing.
Sure. I mean, I'm unconcerned with a reward. It's just, we gotta just do the right thing. I think that was just Taslin being the way that he is. So, did they say where this meeting was going to take place?
He did, and it's a pretty exclusive place that I didn't write down in my notes. But it requires an invitation, and you just got to give them your name, and they'll let you in.
Oh,
The
yeah?
Shrines to Nature up in the Castle Ward.
The Shrines to Nature up in the Castle Ward.
Sorry, Sea Ward.
Sea Ward is where I meant to say.
Sorry.
Oh, I think I know generally where that is. What time did they say tomorrow we were going to do that?
Noon?
Yeah. Okay. Maybe afterwards we could stop by the Tower of Luck. I hear it's nearby. I'm sure Nos would like to take a visit.
I also I've heard about a very interesting thing. I'll tell the whole party about it, but just spoilers. It's about we're gonna check out maybe the that all them shrines for them elves types. You might like it. Being an
Shrines
elf.
for them elves?
Yeah. We couldn't have missed it. It's the complex with all the elf shrines.
The Temple of the Seldarine.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
yeah.
Yes. Great. Sure.
Something's going on
Absolutely.
there. We're gonna find out about it. I'll tell everyone about it.
Okay. They just wanted you to go there?
There's some. Okay, I'll tell you. If you're gonna just rip it out of me.
Rip it out of me.
One of the folks in the Emerald Enclave says that Mialiki herself told her about a disturbance in the Force. I mean, the weave, and it's kind of epicenter is there at the Temple of the Seldarine.
So, someone else wants us to investigate another problem?
Maybe.
Okay. I want to do it. I really do. And I'm willing to, but I really want to not have the scythe anymore.
Yeah, we got to get rid of that for sure.
Okay. And so for me, that's priority number one. All right.
Yeah.
Priority
Great.
number one that it only took you 2 hours to mention. But it's okay, you got maps.
I didn't say
I
that.
got maps.
But you would have said that.
Right. Okay. Yeah, just as long as you understand that, I'm happy to help anybody with anything once I get rid of this thing.
It's a mystery. To be
Right.
solved.
I love it. I love it. Love mysteries. Love solving them. Don't like not solving them so much. That would bother me.
We're here, man. You and me. Want to get this.
You and me. Great. I'm glad we could do that. So with this meeting, is it restricted to just you and me again?
Your name was the only one. I don't even know if I can get in. I guess I might come with. But he said that if you give your name, they'll let you in.
Okay.
But it's a public place, so you won't be, like in danger, I don't think.
All right. I mean, I wasn't overly worried about that. There's a large city guard presence or city watch presence inside the city, so not overly concerned. So we stay at a certain wards. I read in this booklet I got from this gentleman called Volo. Any outlines of places where you shouldn't go. So that should be fine. Great. Well, I'll check up on what everybody else is doing, I guess. I'm going to assume they're all together still, and I will, I'll ask Nos what's going on. And then I'll cast the sending spell.
Great.
To Nos. Be like,
yeah.
Hey, what's up? Where you at? How's it going?
Graveyard has floaty globes at dusk. Wampum's not here.
Is that Kale you're talking to?
Yes.
Tell him he's just so funny. So funny.
Going to get staff where you want us.
Wolfcadio.
Yep.
I'm going to tell you this so I don't forget.
Okay.
We need to get sending stones.
Gotta buy a family plan.
We have to find some before we leave the city. Hold on. Well, where?
It's fairly. I will also remind you that it is. By now it's early to mid evening at this point. You all didn't get in first thing in the morning or anything like that. So.
Okay. Well, look. So they're out shopping. I don't know if you want to go try and find them. It sounded like Nos was inebriated, so I'm not gonna try and send her 1,000 times to find out what the hell is going on with them. So maybe
you should clearly send Taslin.
Yeah.
At that point, Taslin
functioning.
sneezes and hands Nos' flask.
No.
I think we'll just check in at the hotel, the inn.
Right. You wanted to go. Yeah. That's what I was going to suggest. Go back to the general rest and just they'll show up there at some point. That's fine. I would like before the end of the day to go visit the Font of Knowledge or Temple of Knowledge. What the fuck was it called? Whatever it was called, the Font of Knowledge.
Yes.
Well, if you don't mind the company, I'll come with you. But if it's like a spiritual pilgrimage, and and you want your privacy, I respect that as well.
Oh no, that's fine. You could join me on the things that I do. I'm not trying to keep any secrets from you.
All right, pointed.
So if you want, we can just hop in a carriage, and I assume pay somebody to take us there.
Oh yeah, and it's a pretty easy. I mean, it's late enough in the evening now that this is an insane thing to say, and I mean it 100%. Traffic isn't that bad.
City is big. That makes sense.
It is. It's a big city, and they're there are drays and carriages and stuff, so traffic's a thing. But yeah, you can get up there without too much trouble. It's up also in the southwestern part of the Sea Ward, fairly near the western edge of the city. Big old public library and temple to Agma and by extension to Nier.
Cool. And before I'll tell Lufka, hey, could you hail down a cab while I let someone know where we're going? And then I'll send Nos again, I guess. Might as well, because she asked. I'll say, Lufcadio and I are going to visit Font of Knowledge. We'll meet you guys back at the Gentle Rest later.
Great. All right.
Confirmed. I'm
Proud
turning
of
to
you.
Taslin. Hurry up! Get your staff. Go.
Proud of you.
I'm looking.
He's just looking. At this point, he's found a tree and he's looking at sticks.
Oh yeah, comparing them.
I love it. Okay. So let's see. What's your plan for the Font of Knowledge? Just to go and pay respects to Nier and sort of do that thing? Anything in particular down there? up there,
Um,
over there?
I would like to commune. Commune?
Sure.
Commune? No, not yes or no. I don't want to commune. Commune's stupid. I want to cast divination there.
Okay.
And ask what the best way to. How can I get rid of this scythe?
How? Oh,
What do I got to do to get rid of this scythe? Where would be where? Let me hold on. Wait. Where would be the safest place to leave the Scythe of Storms?
In Waterdeep.
Well,
just on the street, you know.
Just like bury it somewhere. I don't know.
Give it to
There's
a
some like
random
open
farmer.
graves in the city. Yeah, right. They'll never know.
Throw it in the harbor. I don't know.
The safest place. I think I do know. So you get a couple of visions when you ask this question in the font of knowledge. You see flashes of a great big tall tower. You see then flashes of the inside of what you assume must be the inside of this tower, because you sort of see yourself floating towards it. But the inside dimensions don't match the outside. It's this massive place with twisting corridors and rooms larger than they should be. And you see, as you sort of pass through all of these hallways and chambers, you catch glimpses of people ? That sort of look like well, they look like ghosts, to be honest. They're somewhat insubstantial, but they all are tinged a sort of strange eldritch green. And at long last, before right as the spell is sort of ending, you get a glimpse of a medium-heighted, strong, stern-looking woman with dark skin and hair, holding a massive dark staff in her palm, and sort of she seems to be looking at you, to be honest. And then the spell sort of ends and the vision disappears. And why don't you make me an intelligence history check with advantage? The suspense is killing me. I don't. Did you do it?
Yeah, I was muted. I got a 28.
Okay. I was like, I just want to know. So you sort of think about it for a minute, and you continue to like sit there in meditation with Denier, and you are absolutely certain that the tower you saw was Blackstaff Tower, and the woman was the current Blackstaff of Waterdeep, Vajra Safar. And you don't, you're not totally clear whether Blackstaff Tower is the place, or if Vajra is supposed to help you with it, or you're something to do with Blackstaff Tower and Vajra. You're not 100% certain that like it's just like, no, toss it in Blackstaff and it'll be fine, but something in and amongst that.
Okay. I guess I'll ask somebody at the Font of Knowledge what would be the best way to get in touch with the Blackstaff.
Oh, that's a tall order, which I think is probably what the person says to you. And then they ask what business you have with the Blackstaff.
How do I want to phrase this? None yet. No. It's I have a very sensitive matter I need to discuss with the Blackstaff, and I have a very sensitive issue that I need to take care of, and I was sent a vision by Denier that the Blackstaff's the person I need to speak with about it.
A little bit the magic words there, since you've made it clear that you are a devotee of one of their. That was a very exciting camera shift. Sorry, I just got very distracted. Yeah, so they'll sort of, when you invoke the name of Denier and the fact that you are a cleric of Denier, they'll sort of give you the benefit of the doubt, and they'll sort of say, you can make a formal petition at the gates of Blackstaff Tower. It's it's sort of a strange procedure. You sort of go up and you speak your request, and the wrought iron gates that surround the tower will either open for you or they won't. The trick, though, is that Blackstaff Tower sort of has, to say a mind of its own is not quite accurate, but like has a will of its own. So the tower may admit you, but that doesn't actually mean that Vajra will be available anytime soon. And beyond that, like folks just sort of have to like hang out. She's a busy lady, and hope that she notices a petitioner in the courtyard before too long. That's sort of that's the standard operating procedure for those who, don't have other connections through either the Open Lord or some other like major governmental figure to sort of go about getting an audience more directly.
Okay. In the Blackstaff Tower, it's like across the street, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very close by.
Do you think she'd be there now?
Well, it's late enough in the day that, I mean, if she is in residence, I would imagine that she is there now. I couldn't say whether the time of day would help or hurt your chances of getting her attention, but I would imagine she's there at least.
Okay. Then I'm going to check it out. I'm going to go do that. Thank you for the information.
Welcome back, Lefkadia.
Hey, what's up? Before I leave, I guess, I'll ask somebody, is there anything you guys need that like I could help you with? Do you need money for some reason? Do you take donations?
I mean, they absolutely do. It's the fact that the gods are undeniably real and present in people's lives doesn't change the fact that the church is always going to want some money for something.
Sure.
So, I mean, yeah, they'll happily take donations. They're not, looking for questers at the moment or anything. But, they'll happily take donations or volunteered time to sort of, work in the library reshelving and things like that. They are more than happy to, or scribing type things, making copies of manuscripts and stuff like that. Any of that is more than happily accepted.
Well, I'll tell you what. I will go into my bag of holding and I get out a book that I got a long time ago called The Citadel, A Tale of 10,000 Pearls. And I'll let them know I got this from the city of 10,000 Pearls on the Plain of Water. And I will set it down, and then I will drop a little bag with 100 platinum pieces in it. On top of that.
You guys! You're gonna give somebody an aneurysm!
We've got money to spend and nothing to spend it on.
Good lord. Great. Yes. He blesses the shit out of you for that. In fact, I think let's say that I know what I'll do. As you give this blessing, he obviously thanks you and like blesses you sort of, ecclesiastically. But you also feel the sort of the touch of Denier, and we'll say that you have none of those. We're gonna call it a charm of, what is the one that gives you the effects of bless? Is that heroism? Yes, a charm of heroism. So you can, at any point, activate the charm, which gives you the benefit of a potion of heroism, no concentration required, for the bless portion of it. And once you've used it, the charm goes away.
Okay, cool. I feel hash brown blessed, as Carl likes to say.
So close. Excellent. All right. So you're going to Blackstaff Tower tonight? You're going now?
Yeah, I'm right across the street from it. I mean, why not?
Great. All right, here's what we're going to do, because we are approaching our time, and I want to end at a satisfying and not quite in the middle of something spot. So, how long are you willing to wait for the Blackstaff to notice you? Because I will say, like, the tower is going to admit you into the courtyard.
I mean, I might do some stuff to be noticed.
Oh my gods. Like what?
I guess I could try thaumaturgy first, just be really loud.
Sure. Okay.
If that doesn't work, what else? I would attempt to send her, even though I've never met her, so I don't know if I could be considered familiar with her, so that probably just fail.
That's interesting. Actually, I think maybe with your vision from divination, I think it might work.
Okay. Great.
Yeah, actually, I think I'll buy that.
Cool. I'm glad you did.
Yeah.
I was prepared to go a lot farther.
That's a little bit what I was worried about. So what are you going to say to her? Really didn't want to bring the might of Agaron down upon you for blowing up Blackstep Tower, so...
No, there wouldn't... No, I would have just walked in. I was planning on casting Ethereal on this and just walking in.
Oh, that would have been really funny, actually. I should have let you do it. It would not have worked.
Yeah, that's honestly, that's kind of what I think out of character, but...
Yeah.
Yeah, so the sending... sorry to bother you.
Uh-huh.
My name is Kale Irvine. I'm a cleric of Denier. He told me you could help with something important. Perfect.
And the silence is long enough that you think it didn't work or something. And then finally, you hear a voice. Let's see. Impudent. Bold. I like it. Come back to my tower tomorrow. High noon will do nicely. We will speak then.
Lafcadio.
What's up, mate?
Would it be possible... Well, actually, you know what? Kale's actually just going to be like, I need to reschedule the meeting with your people. The Black Staff also wants me to meet them at noon here.
And so, as you say that, it sounds like you need to be in two places at the same time. And as I snap, I make myself look exactly like you. What do you think?
So weird.
No. Love the sentiment, great idea, but I wasn't being disingenuous when I said I wanted to join the Emerald Enclave and help out, so I don't think it would look great if I were to try and deceive them and you, but I appreciate you good looking out.
Well, you can still do that, and I can do the other thing that you got to reschedule for. I'm just saying. I don't know if I can get a second meeting. Is the thing.
Right. That's fine. If I can't get a second meeting, the meeting with the Black Staff is way more important.
All right.
No offense. It just is. So yeah, if I lose the meeting, I lose the meeting. That's unfortunate.
All right. Well, I look forward to finding out what the final decision is for noontime tomorrow next week. Excellent. Thanks everybody for hanging out. This was a very different sort of session. There's a lot of housekeeping that we have to do, and adventuring in a city when not playing Waterdeep Dragon Heist is sort of a weird proposal, but you all did really great. I loved all of the roleplay. There were little moments here and there. I congratulate all of you on keeping this session that could have been very boring, very not boring. So if you don't have inspiration, everybody take inspiration, because thank you for helping me keep things interesting tonight. I really enjoyed it. There are so many threads that you all have to pull on from your time as adventurers together. It's sort of interesting that they've all seemed to have come together here in Waterdeep, and I like it. So thanks everybody. Thanks so much for hanging out and watching tonight. We really appreciate you being here. Once again, I'm going to mention our Trevor Project fundraiser. Once we reach our $500 goal, which we will absolutely do by the end of June. Once we hit that, we will officially trigger the existence of our legendary bundle giveaway from D&D Beyond. So we will draw a name at random from our donors, and they will be gifted with a legendary bundle on D&D Beyond. Super awesome. The Trevor Project is an incredible organization. They do a lot of good for LGBTQIA+ youth, and we appreciate all of your support in that realm. Like I said, we're fundraising through the end of June. So if you are able, and we understand everyone has different means and different abilities to participate in things like this, but if you are able, we very much appreciate your support of us and of the Trevor Project. Let's go around. Do introductions again. Let us know where you can find you on social media if you're interested in sharing that information. I'm going to remember it this week. Tell us one of your favorite moments from tonight's session. And yeah, let's do that. Let's start with Graham.
Hi, I'm Graham, or Graham Crackers at Twitch TV. You can tune into me playing on Fridays at either Twitch TV/Graham Crackers with a Z, or Twitch TV/Nirokie, that's Nirokie. I will be unveiling a new homebrew campaign in a few weeks. Hope you guys tune into that, and I will tell you more later at some other point when I'm more organized. And my favorite time was playing Drunk Taslin.
Drunk Taslin might have to make some reappearances in the coming weeks. It's pretty great. Let's hop to John.
Hello, everybody, and thank you for tuning in with us. I am Wampum Thunderbelly, your dwarf battle master. Those of you that didn't know or don't view us on D&D Beyond, our group did get level 14, so we did go up on.
Oh my goodness, that's right.
Some abilities. So you are going to see Wampum now wielding 2 battle axes and the shield that floats in front of him. So it should be getting a little bit more exciting. And of course, Wampum always enjoys promoting his ale, the Thunderbelly Ale, and drinking it with his friends. So that's always the favorite.
I love it. Yeah, I had a good time with that. I had no idea where any of that was going, but it was sort of fun. I enjoyed it. Casey. Sorry, should have given you a heads up.
Unmute myself first. I'm Casey. I've been your Hobgoblin Azamar Barbarian Fighter Champion of Timora Nos. If you liked what you saw this evening and you want to see more of me, you can find me on the Greyhawk channel on Tuesday mornings playing a Necro Ninja with the Open Legend system. And you can also find me Friday evenings starting at 5 p.m. EST with the Old Faith, playing another Barbarian, Totem Barbarian. And on Tuesday evenings, you can also catch me here on the CRP channel playing the Weather Medium, Theodora. And I had a whole lot of favorite parts, and they were all Eugenio.
Oh. I also like cities because I get to use voices.
That's topical for the things that I wrote down here. First off, your Irish is uncanny. I knew it was Irish. It's Irish, not Scottish.
That's good.
Fantastic.
Well done there. And then also, Blackstaff.
I
Well
love.
done.
Can I tell you, Vajra is one of my favorite canon NPCs in the Forgotten Realms. I think she's amazing and such a badass.
It was her from the moment the accent left your mouth. I was
love her.
Badra, I miss you.
I love her. I love it. Carl.
I'm Carl. I was playing Lafcadio Whitehorn. I also play Peliar Duentero Tuesday nights on this channel in the World of Horror and Game with Casey. So if you like her or me, probably her, you will watch us Tuesday nights as well. I will second my second the accolades for Eugenio, our amazing DM who kept everything super exciting when everything we were doing should have been super boring. So
That's right.
Thank you for that.
You are very welcome. Thank you for playing along. Last but most certainly not least, Vinny.
I'm Vinny. I play the Half Cleric of Denier, in case you didn't hear my pronouncement at the beginning. Kael Irvine from Eltergard. And you can find me nowhere. Don't dox me, please. So, my favorite moment is impossible to pin down. I love this session. I'm super I've been watching the Chain of Acheron Colville stream, and that's an urban campaign too. And I love the idea of doing kind of a more urban thing, and I feel like we did a great job as a player. I don't know how people feel watching it. I can't possibly know that, but I feel like it went very well, and everybody did just a great job of keeping it together.
Awesome. Well, good. Once again, I am Eugenio, also known as your friendly neighborhood dungeon master, DM Jazzy Hands. You can find me on Twitter at DM Jazzy Hands. I am the dungeon master for the actual play podcast, The Last Refuge. We are just under a month out from our 2-year anniversary. We announced a ton of stuff earlier in the week about that anniversary celebration that we've got coming up. We're doing giveaways. Wormwood has provided some awesome products that we're going to be giving away for our anniversary. We've got a special offer going on right now with our Patreon where you can get a postcard signed by the cast and some exclusive audio if you sign up now, all kinds of cool stuff. We're doing a live anniversary stream on July 10th. So check out my Twitter or the show's Twitter, which is at DND Last Refuge, for all of those details. Also, if you want to watch me play more D&D, you can catch me twice tomorrow. On Mondays, you can find me at 1 p.m. on the Greyhawk channel running a game called The Brenton Files, Monsters and Myths. It's a horror-themed game set in Greyhawk that I'm super excited about. Monday night, you can catch me on the Variant Roles channel as a player in a campaign set in Ravnica that we just kicked off last week. Some awesome players in there. We had way too much fun role-playing our interpersonal relationships and got very little done with the campaign, but that's all right. Fridays, you can find me on Encounter Roleplay. I'm a player in the Basilica of the Cudgel, which is another Greyhawk setting campaign where I play Kaladin, the human priest of Rao, who likes to charm things rather than fight them. And then, of course, you can find me here every Sunday night with Crituitous Harpley and the Half-Rate Heroes. So that's me and where you can find me. I feel like I'm forgetting something, but I don't think I am. So we will see you back next week, same time, same place, where we will still be raising money for the Trevor Project, still hoping to hit our $500 goal so we can give free things away to you. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great week. We will see you next Sunday. Bye, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.